Whether you're thinking about buying a home or selling a home,
Trish Sells ATL can help.
with the current Atlanta real estate market, buyer and seller opportunities are better than ever.
Thank y'all so much, but I'll take it from here. Sellers, this is your market. It's time for you to get off of that fence and put your home on the market and get it sold to my buyers who are waiting for you to list your home. I'd love to earn your business, so please give Trish a call at Keller Williams Realty Buckhead, 404-604-3800,
or text or call 404-819-4495.
Please also visit my website at TrishSellsATL.com. Let's talk about how I can assist you with achieving your real estate goals and making your dreams a reality.
List your house with our mommy at TrishSellsATL.com.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the Atlanta Homebuyer webinar. Welcome to the Atlanta Homebuyer webinar. This is our annual webinar. I do a homebuyer webinar every year. A lot of people have these issues because they want to home, they want to how they want to do. So we post this webinar every. So thank you to everybody who got hello. Good morning, everybody got talk about it ready. We'll be on here for that. So grab your coffee. I need you guys to like. I need you to share. I need you to share this seminar so that we can talk real estate, talk about this housing market, and talk about how to move forward. And so if this is your first time on here, if you are SVP to the Home Buyer webinar, thank you so much. Those who are SVP and they are in attendance, they have been entered the drawing to win a grand prize, y'all. And I will tell you what that grand prize is at the end of the webinar. So if you RSVP'd and that was before right now, 10 o'clock, you were entered, your name was entered in the drawing to win a grand prize. So thank you so much for registering for this home buyer seminar. I need you to tag, I need you to like, I need you to share. I need you to tell somebody that there is a wealth of information that is going to be released on this webinar today. We have our loan lender, our mortgage broker, he will be on. I did a pre-record with the inspector so that you can get some information on that. Unfortunately, our closing attorney is under the weather. Y'all keep her in your prayers. But she has a wealth of information, and we will do a pre-record or do a live recording just for closing. I feel that you guys need to know the information of how closing goes down, and I'll touch on it a little bit today, but I want you to grab your coffee, your breakfast. I can't see you eating. So it's all good. It's all good. So that we can get started. I need you to tag, like, and share. Tell somebody about this webinar. And I'll give you a couple of seconds to do that. And then we will start. Thank you, everybody on Instagram. I see y'all. Thank you so much for showing up, showing out Facebook. Thank you so much, YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We are on Twitter. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook, giving this wealth of information. So I just want you to tag somebody who you believe this will be useful, even if they're not buying a house tomorrow. They will need to buy a home eventually because everyone needs somewhere to live. So I need you to go ahead, tag those people, like this video. I need you to share it. I need you to share. So I will start off by introducing myself. I am Trish Myrick. I have been in the real estate business. July will be 14 years that I have been in the real estate business. So I have seen the market go up. I've seen it go down. As a matter of fact, when I got my real estate license, the market collapsed. That was it's back in 2008. So the market had collapsed. We had a lot of real estate owned property. So I learned real estate really from the back end of the bank owned properties and, investors flipping them, buying them for dirt cheap, flipping them, and renting them out. Well, now we have the market that I like to call the Wild Wild West that we are in now, where there are no discounts. You're paying full price above and beyond with this current market. So I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit about me. I am homegrown. I am from the ATL. So understand that when I go out and I am, doing real estate, I understand that I'm representing the city that I grew up in. I am an Atlanta public school graduate. And I further matriculated to the University of Georgia. Go Dogs. We get a second chance to whoop Alabama behind y'all. We're going to do it this time. Don't quote me, but we're going to whoop they behind this time, okay? So I'm definitely homegrown. I love being able to give back to my community. I do community events. Pre-COVID, I did a lot of career days because, I like to let young people know that I understand college isn't for everybody. Yes, I do believe that you need some type of training, even if it's 2 years when you want to run a business, but also to be that example to show them that, you can have a career and a lucrative career at that. So I'm a mom. I have a college student. I have a high school student and I have an elementary school student, y'all. What is I'm going to do? But she's getting ready to come up out of elementary school. We got about 1.5 more years. So I have 3, a son, 2 daughters, and I have my dog, my fur baby, my first son. His name is Bentley. And so we just make life work. Real estate is a business that input equals output, which is what I tell my fellow realtors in my coaching and training. I believe that, the next step is coaching and training other realtors, to dominate the market. There is enough real estate in Atlanta for everybody. So there is no need to, not, I guess, give trade secrets. I believe in sharing the wealth of information because ultimately I want to leave a legacy when I am no longer here. So just wanted to throw that out. I absolutely love what I do. To be in this business on the highs and lows for 14 years, it has been a ride, but I am grateful and thankful for every client, every person that refers me business, my referral partners who are in other states, my vendors, my mortgage brokers and lenders, and my closing attorney, my handyman, my contractors, down even to my cleaning ladies. Thank you all. My team, I would not be able to do what I do without them. So thank you so much. I have an exclusive buyer's agent. Her name is Rondalyn. Thank you, Rondalyn, for all that you do. I have 2 more people coming on to join this team. So our team will be official in March of 2022. So just wanted to give you a little update on that as we continue to push forward to dominate this real estate market. So how y'all doing? Y'all check in, drop a hello in the comment, a good morning. How y'all feeling? I know we keep getting news about these new variants and all of this stuff, y'all, but the only thing that I can do is say keep the faith, and just wear your mask. Just wear your mask. But how are y'all doing? Drop in the comments if you're on Facebook. Just check in. Hey, how you doing? I'm okay. Instagram, I'm waving back at y'all. I can't really type because I have the phone up on my ring. Hey, Jacqueline, thank you so much for tuning in. And we're going to go ahead and get started. We have our lender who's going to come on. Like I said, I have a pre-record from the home inspector, and we will continue to just make things work. Instagram, I am going to upload this video. Once this is all over, y'all know I put the real video on my feed. So even though you can't see my screen, you'll be able to hear me. So the home buying process, that's what we are going to talk about first. And so one of the very first things that as a home buyer, you say, hey, I'm tired of renting. It could be, everybody's rent is going up from my understanding. Rent is sky high. And so you made the decision. You said, hey, it's time for me to build wealth. It's time for me to purchase an asset, because as long as I'm paying the landlord, I'm paying money into their asset. I'm not paying money into my asset. I'm paying money into their asset. And so now I want to purchase a home so that I have collateral. I have an asset. I have something that I'm putting money into. I have something that I am leaving for my children, my children's children, okay? So when you begin this process, one of the very first things that you do is you need to select a real estate agent. The reason why you do this first is because as realtors, and I am a realtor, which means I'm a member of the National Board of Realtors, the Georgia Association of Realtors, and also the Atlanta Board of Realtors, okay? And so us as agents, we have the wealth of information to get you to each point that is needed when it comes time for you to purchase this home. So once you select your real estate agent, we will recommend you to a lender. I work with several lenders, y'all. And so first step, once you choose a real estate agent, we say, hey, we listen to your goals. I have a buyer consultation. We talk about what you want to do, how soon you want to do it, your why behind why, you're moving. I like to get your motivation so I can keep you motivated, especially in this type of market that we're in now. And so you go over to the lender and you obtain financial pre-approval. Guys. And so from that point, I have already analyzed your needs in a consultation, because during the consultation, that's when I recommend a lender to you. And so once you select your lender, you go through the financial pre-approval process. Right now, it is very important that you get with a lender and they give you a pre-approval. A lot of lenders now are doing the credit approval up front because we are in a very, very competitive real estate market. I am not saying that you cannot find a house in this market. What I'm saying is it's very competitive. So you want to have all of your ducks in a row. When you are credit approved, that means that the lender has asked for your paycheck stubs, your last 2 tax returns, your W-2s, your driver's license. They've asked for this information, and they're going to and your bank statements, and they're going to run this and put you in front of the underwriter so that you are credit approved. When you are credit approved, that's a little bit stronger than pre-approval, because we know that the only thing you have to do at this point is find the house. That's one of the questions that the listing agents are asking. Ask me how I know. I'm also not only a buyer's agent, I am a listing agent as well. And so the sellers want to know, can this person close on this house? Can this person close? And so that is why we go through that process of pre-approval up front, get you pre-approved, so that way we know the only thing that we have to do is find the home. Okay, so once we've gotten your pre-approval letter, I onboard you in the state of Georgia. We sign what is called a buyer brokerage agreement. Buyer brokerage agreement, yes. In order for you to hire me as your realtor, you have to sign a buyer brokerage agreement. You have duties to me as the independent contractor that is representing the broker, who is Keller Williams. And I have a duty to you as the independent contractor who is representing you in this real estate transaction. And so this is what this buyer brokerage agreement it outlines. In order for me to be able to represent you in your real estate transaction, you do have to sign this form. I get information from buyers all the time. Oh, I work with another agent. They never made me sign it. Listen, we follow protocol. It's going to protect you. It's going to protect me. And then we'll be in agreement. We'll be shaking hands like a big happy family all the way to the closing table and beyond, because I have clients there. I have clients for life. We check in every day. Being in this business, I've had repeat clients who have come back to me. They've sold their home. They purchased another. So at the end of the day, it's about the relationship. And signing that agreement is the beginning of the relationship and my responsibilities to you as a potential client. So after this agreement is signed, a lot of times I've already set up your portal. Georgia MLS and FMLS are our 2 systems where we have our homes. I know you guys like Zillow and Realtor.com and all of them, but hey, let me tell y'all a little secret. they get those listings from our MLS system, okay? So when you're getting that alert, it's actually a delay because the realtor will have already put that listing in the system prior to you getting that alert on Zillow. But here's the thing. In this current market, you want to get that alert as soon as the listing agent hits save or submit. That's when you want to get it. You don't want to get this alert 2 and 3 hours later because you already know this market is highly competitive. So the quicker that you get it, the quicker that you can go look at it, the faster you can put an offer in and get in front of that seller. So time is of the essence. And so while we, I know y'all like to look at Zillow and all of that, but as a realtor, that's why we set up these portals for you so that as soon as the listing agent puts it in, you get that alert. So you are hours, minutes, seconds ahead of Zillow, ahead of Realtor.com and all of that so that you can get the first leg up on viewing these homes and submitting an offer. And so you select which homes you want to see out of this portal. We schedule an appointment to go and view these homes. Now, what I'm seeing in this current industry, y'all, you need to be looking at a house within 24 to 48 hours of it hitting the market. You need to be looking at this home, this potential home, within 24 to 48 hours. Y'all, these homes are going so fast. At the blink of an eye, they are under contract. And so with that being said, time waits for no one, and the houses do not either. They just simply do not. There is some people who are literally, when they get that alert, they must have an alarm on their phone because they get up, they text their agent, hey, put an offer in on it. They're going to see it, and before you know it, 24 hours under contract. I've seen it as a listing agent, going through 30 offers, going through 40 offers for one home. So time is of the essence, you guys. So you write an offer for purchasing the home, right? You write the offer. The seller may agree to it. The seller may want to negotiate some terms. The seller may want to decline your offer. It all depends on what offers they already have in front of them. That's why I'm saying time is of the essence, y'all. Time is of the essence, and we have to make sure that we are moving efficiently when it comes to this home buying process. So if we negotiate terms, we'll go back and forth. The seller may counter you. They may counter your offer. They may say, well, hey, I really like their offer, but they need to go up about $5,000. Or the due diligence period, which is the inspection period, which is a very important period when it comes to our contracts. They may say the inspection period is too long. They only need 24 to 48 hours for the inspector to come out. Now, traditionally in the market that we're in right now, the due diligence period is between about 3 and 5 days. It's the market expectation right now. So if you have a 10-day due diligence period, most sellers frown upon that because that's 10 days that they would have had to take their home off of the market, for you to get inspected. And so we try to be reasonable and we look at the market expectations when we are doing it. And so let's say that we negotiated all terms and your seller says, okay, we're going to sign. I agree with what you said. I'm willing to, take my chances and take my home off the market for you. So that's when we go under contract. That is when we go under contract. We go under contract, we go under contract. And so when you see pending, when you see under contract, that's what that means. The seller has accepted an offer on that home. And so there are 3 components when it comes to this home buying process and once you have gone under contract. The first component, I'll say 4, because the first component is your earnest money. Your earnest money is like a deposit or your good faith saying, I'm going to purchase this home. Now, some sellers do look at the amount of the earnest money, and they feel like the more earnest money you put down, the more likely you are to purchase this home. So it kind of tells the seller how serious you are. So that's one of the major components. Now, market expectation is 1% of the purchase price. However, we are in a very competitive market, so I'm seeing earnest money anywhere between 2 to 5% of the purchase price. The second component is the inspection / due diligence period, which they are used synonymously. This is the time when the inspector comes out. Now, I have inspectors that I work with. They can usually be out at a home within 24 hours. And that is vital to, I feel like, my business and to serve my clients. Because if we want to know what's going on with this home, Georgia is a buyer beware state. So although a seller may give you what is called a seller's property disclosure statement, and they're telling you what they believe has happened with the house, think about it. We're all human. And so some people, they may forget that they had work done 10 years ago. They may not remember, how old their systems are. I mean, it's just a plethora of things that we may forget. And so Georgia is the buyer beware state, and it is the buyer's responsibility to get an inspection on the home that they are purchasing. So the due diligence period is vital. My inspectors can get out there within 24 to 48 hours normally. So we know exactly what's going on with the house. I get my report back within 24 hours, usually same day. And so we can review the inspection report to determine what's going on with the house. Now, a home is never going to be perfect. Even with new construction, I have seen things come back on an inspection report for a new construction home. But the thing is, you have to ask the seller, which most sellers right now, they aren't doing a lot of repairs. It just really, really depends. But you can request, that if a repair is needed, through an amendment to address concerns, if there are any major repairs. Now, if it's some minor things or some cosmetic things or some things that you can live with as a buyer, you can make that decision too. You can say, well, hey, this will only cost, $200 to fix. It's nothing to be in an uproar about. And you can decide, hey, I'm just going to take care of it after closing. Those are your options, because some sellers, they're saying as is, meaning they are not doing any repairs. That doesn't mean that you cannot request them, because you can do so using an amendment to address concerns. However, if the seller says, I'm not doing anything, so if you want to terminate your contract, you may. That's when you have to be in that position to decide, is this repair a deal breaker for me? Historically, I advise clients look at the major components of the house: your hot water heater, your furnace, your HVAC system, your ducts. When you have a FHA loan and when our lender comes on, the home has to be sound, safe, and sanitary. So that means that, it has to be a sound. It can't be in disrepair. It has to be safe. So the windows have to be able to close, go up and down. The doors have to be in place. It has to be sanitary. It has to be habitable. So these are the things that after you get an inspection that you pay for FHA and VA, they have appraisers that come in and they inspect the property as well. So if they see something that is mandatory for the seller to do in order for them to close on it, a lot of times the seller will go ahead and repair it. So it just really depends. This is still negotiation. That's why that due diligence period is vital when it comes to your contract. That's why it is vital. And so moving on to the mortgage process. So now you've already been credit underwritten, right? And so you have a contract. We submit the contract to the lender. We submit the contract to the closing attorney, right? We also submit the seller's property disclosure to the inspector, so he can kind of have a heads up on what to look for when it comes to doing the inspection. So with your lender, they get a copy of your contract and they have to submit it to underwriting. They also have to submit a request for your appraisal. And right now, lenders are doing the appraisal fairly quickly because it's taking about 3 to 5 days for an appraiser to pick up your loan to initiate and schedule to go out to appraise this home. And so they normally go out. It takes about 5 days after that. And then once they do the appraisal, they have 7 days to submit a report. And so if you're doing a contract, and contracts are normally 30 days, they're about 30 days. They may go 45, but most sellers, they're looking for 30-day closes, y'all. And so when this happens, when the appraiser goes out, the lender, gets the appraisal, and you do have to pay for an appraisal. They're anywhere between $500 to $550, depending on your lender. But when they go out and they do this appraisal, the time frame, we have to make sure that we're giving them enough time to go out, to complete the report, to send it back to us, and for us to review it. So I got asked a question the other day, like, why is the appraisal being requested up front? Well, it's being requested up front because we are giving the lender, giving the appraiser an opportunity to schedule. They have to coordinate with if the home is still occupied, they have to coordinate with the listing agent as well, so that they can get in and get this appraisal done. So this is why it is requested up front in that manner. And so once the appraisal goes in, we have 2 things that can happen. It can appraise for above the contract price, or it can appraise for below the contract price. If it appraises for below the contract price, here comes negotiations again. The bank will normally only pay for what the home appraises for, y'all. The bank will only pay for what the home appraises for. So if it appraises for lower, there's 2 things that could happen. In the current market, we have something that's called an appraisal gap. What is an appraisal gap, Trish? What is an appraisal gap? Well, an appraisal gap is when the buyer pays the difference between what the home appraises for and what the contract price is. This is something that is normally placed in the special stipulations portion of your contract, especially if it's multiple offers. It's a bidding war, right? And so we've gone beyond the list price. And so as a listing agent, when the seller says, well, what if it doesn't appraise? And that's when the appraisal gap conversation comes in. Can the buyer purchase this home? Right? Can they purchase this home and put the extra money so that the seller still gets the contract price? And so that's the question that is asked usually up front when we are negotiating offers. The second thing that could happen is that the seller could say, you know what, I'll just take the appraisal price. But in the current market that we're in, I have yet to see that, y'all. The sellers want whatever you put on that contract. That is what they're agreeing to. So it's very difficult. And if we get in multiple offers and we see that offers are going $10,000, $20,000 over list price, that's when we have the conversation about the appraisal gap. So I just wanted to make you guys aware of that, because this market is not the same market that your grandmama purchased her house, that your mom may have purchased their house, that your sister, brother, auntie, cousin may have purchased a house. This is a completely different market. So I need you guys to understand. And I know, family means well, your friends mean well, your coworkers even mean well when they're giving you real estate advice. But understand, we are professionals in this business. I do real estate every day. It is not part-time for me. It is full-time, down to market reports, data, me looking at contracts, me looking at the trends. And so understand that I'm coming to you from a place of knowledge and experience to make sure that I have armed you with the information necessary for you to make an informed real estate decision. And so with that being said, understand that if we're talking appraisal gap, I'm going to give you, like I tell people, the juice and the tea. I'm going to say, hey, if you go over this price, This is what it's actually, I pull the comp. So whenever you're negotiating an offer, I pull the comparables in the neighborhood to make sure that we are on one accord when it comes to what it could appraise for. So if we're going over that number that I'm giving you, we're having a conversation about the appraisal gap to make sure that you are prepared in the event that the house that you want, the house that you have made an offer on, the house that you say that you love does not appraise. And so on to the closing attorney portion. We send your contract to the closing attorney. Why are they so important? Especially when you are an investor. The closing attorney represents the lender, and the closing attorney for investors, they're the lifeline to get you closed. We send it to them because they conduct what is called a title search. They make sure that there are no encumbrances on the title. There are no liens, y'all. I have seen water liens. I have seen HOA liens. I have seen IRS liens, y'all. So when you get ready to purchase a house, they are going to skim that house to make sure they have a title abstractor that goes down to that courthouse, and they pull that information to make sure that there is nothing that can prevent you from purchasing the house. Yes, if the seller has a lien on their house, they have to satisfy that balance before they can transfer the title over to you. And so that is one of the major functions of our closing attorney, to make sure that we are legally transferring property to and fro. In the event that a seller does have a lien, a HOA lien, a water lien, or just a mechanic's lien on the home, they have to make sure that with the proceeds, those liens can be satisfied. Some of the liens and the proceeds, some of the liens cannot be satisfied by the proceeds. And so herein lies another problem. So that is why when your contract gets accepted, we send it over to not only your lender, but to the closing attorney too, so that they can start the work on the front end. And if there are any issues that arise, we can get those rectified prior to us going to closing, y'all. And so they also obtain title insurance, because once the title abstractor has gone out there, once everything has been rectified, if need be, you have to have title insurance. So that means that the closing attorney basically went out, they did their job with the title search. After the liens are satisfied, after you purchase this home, nobody can come back and say, oh, that was my granddad's house that was gifted to somebody, and now you sold it and I'm going to sue you. That's why you're going to have title insurance, so that to make sure that in the event that an issue arises, you're insured, because the closing attorney up front researched that title. So should any litigation arise, that title insurance will be taken care of. One of the other components that the lender does for the buyer is they help shop you around for homeowners insurance. So some of you all may have renters insurance. So when you are renting a property, you have renters insurance. So when you get ready to purchase a property, you have to have homeowners insurance. And so you may be with a company, you may be able to bundle it with, your car or your article insurance or something like that. So the lender helps you get the best price when it comes to the homeowner's insurance. So with that being said, those are the major three components: the inspection, the mortgage lending process, and then the closing attorney process when it comes to getting you ready to purchase this home. And so if all systems are go from the inspection, if we've resolved all the issues, if the lender, you've gone through underwriting, tidbit, 10 days before closing, usually, the underwriter is running your credit again. They're doing your employment verification. They want your bank statements. They want all updated information. I know you're going to say, but Trish, I already gave this to them. Give it to them again. Give them whatever they ask for, so that you can get what is called your clear to close. Those are our favorite words. Those three words right there: clear to close. When you are clear to close, that means that your inspection has been resolved on the mortgage side. You satisfy everything that they have requested and asked you for. And we contact the closing attorney and we say, when can we schedule your closing? And so the lender has to send the closing attorney closing documents. There are a lot of documents. So when you get ready to close, make sure you've been going to the gym and lifting weights, because you're going to have to sign a lot of documents, y'all. You got to sign a lot of documents. But we schedule with the closing attorney. The lender sends the closing attorney a package. We get on their calendar so that we can get you closed. And so the lender will also let you know how much money you need to wire to the closing attorney's office for closing. So they will let you know how much money you need to wire so that you can get closed. You usually have to wire that information, wire those funds over to the closing attorney. You cannot write a check. You have to wire it, unless it's like a balance, I think, less than $500. But now in this industry, you have to wire your money, okay? No checks, y'all. And so once we obtain those funds, we are at the closing table singing Kumbaya. We're celebrating. Your arm is falling off because you're signing the same document 3 times, but you got to do original signatures for all 3 times, right? And so you're signing away, and boom, you get your keys. We take pictures. We celebrate you purchasing your home. It is one of the largest transactions that you will ever make. And so we celebrate. We are thankful and grateful. One thing that I miss before we schedule closing, we do a final walkthrough, because we want to make sure that the same way that when you saw that home when you first saw it, when you saw it again at the inspection, before you get ready to close, we do a final walkthrough. So we make sure that the house is in the same condition and it's being conveyed in the same condition that we agreed upon. And so we do all of that right before closing, about 24 to 48 hours prior to closing. We're doing a final walkthrough, we're wiring funds, and then we're headed to the closing table. And so although this was a brief synopsis on closing, if you have any questions for me, you can always email us, info@TrishSellsATL.com, info@TrishSellsATL.com. You can call or text me 404, just not right now because I'm still on the live until 12, but 404-819-4495, 404-819-4495. You can text me if you have any additional questions for clarification. If you want a copy of this right here, the home buying process, I'll be more than happy to send it to you. If you are on the RSVP list, this will be sent to you. But if you are listening on Instagram, you want a copy of it, info@TrishSellsATL.com, and that's info@TrishSellsATL.com. And so we are going to move on